Hey, Scrapper Names fans, welcome back to a new process video. I have a double page process of a project life spread I am or was working on. This one is documenting yet again some Christmas time fun. This is actually from last year, and in this spread, so my nephew, his birthday is actually Christmas Eve. So I went up with the kids, just before. So this is on the 23rd, and then we had his birthday on the Christmas Eve. But I went up, yes, before, as I said, and my sister and her partner live up in Sydney, and there was the most amazing light display. So usually a bit of a family tradition we have that I had set up, was that every Christmas Eve we go Christmas light looking. So this year was a little bit different last year in that we did it in Sydney. I can't remember if we actually did Christmas Eve lights when I got back from Sydney. But anyway, and it was so much fun. It was so awesome. There was this whole, property, near where they live, and they just had and there was some photos, I think, in this spread, and there's another one that has it as well, that had all of these, like, even vintage looking statues, and there was just lights. It was amazing. I couldn't believe how people had this set up. Like, it just amazes me how people do it. Anyway, so that's what I'm documenting here on this double page spread. So obviously went with my two kids and then my sister and her partner and my niece and nephew, and had a ball. There was like food carts at different places, like food vans, and so we had ice cream, and yeah, it was good fun. Nice night out together. But I am using my Christmas stash that I'm slowly depleting, I think. Or maybe I've just organised it a bit more. Who knows? But I am in the process of working through all my bits and pieces, so you will see lots of different mismatched, I guess, but, following that same sort of theme, or colour theme and things like that of Christmassy stuff. But yes, working it through that. Making a big error here, side note, is, just realised it wasn't actually the 24th that we went looking at the lights, it's the 23rd. And of course, in my stash of like those little round number pieces, I don't have a 23. So frustrating. So frustrating. But I am glad I found it before the glue had stuck, because then that bugger was not coming off. So yes, so instead I obviously go with these black foam thickers, just to put in like the 23 for, the date. And then I just do a little bit of journaling just for, I think, the overall sort of like, what's happening here kind of thing. And then I do some little bits in journaling. To show what's happening. All right, so as I said, bits and pieces of my stash. So some of these pieces here are from Flutterby Designs, which was an Australian little company, family business type thing, that is no more, unfortunately. But lots of funky Christmas stuff here as well. I knew this card needed some extra zhuzhing up, but just adding some little bits and pieces. All right, now I had these little, I think I brought these little gold stars in my stash, my Christmas stash, and forgot that they were there. They were buried under all like the papers and stuff like that. Anyway, I was rummaging through and found them, so I put them next to me on my desk to use mainly my Christmas stuff, I guess, but just to be used. However, they have like I guess you could call it like an outline And then you've got the inner piece of it as well. I didn't actually realise that they were two separate sort of pieces, which is at times a little annoying, especially on the smaller ones. Like, they're very finicky, as you'll see me play around with. There's one of the outer pieces, and then popping in the smaller piece, trying to line them up. It looks really quick and easy, but that's the joys of editing and speeding up the process here, because it was a little bit fussy. But that is my title card for this spread completed. Now, there's not lots and lots of embellishing. There's lots going on in the photos, I think, from memory. And as you can see, lots of lights. This photo was taken at the house I was just talking about with the property, and he literally had this massive, big light-up Christmas tree. You can see in the photo there. It amazes me as to how these things can happen. What am I doing sticking my head under there? I don't know what I was doing then. I might have been checking to see the camera was still going. Yeah, it really does amaze me as to how people get these set up. I have enough trouble doing, just the small little lights and things that I have here at home, like, let alone they'd have to spend months, I would think, preparing and setting it up. And anyway, that's just my mind. All right, so just popping a little bit of journaling on here. This was a great little photo opportunity. There was lots of little spots where you could take photos, like little, not booths, but like this. Like, so there was a Santa sleigh, and there was another one that you could, like, stick your heads in the, like, and, be the person, like Santa or whatever. So there was lots of little things like that deliberately set up. So you did snap some photos. This one I think's got Hannah and my nephew. Hannah's my daughter. I think we might have been eating ice cream at the same time. But I couldn't get a full photo of, like, the sleigh with the full length of the tree and everything in it. It was crazy. All right, just adding more. Lots of those gold sparklies, because why not? And again, trying to use up some of these little bits and pieces. So, I mean, there's little chipboard pieces, but there's also these little printable sort of Christmassy icons. And I'm really trying to use them up because they're everywhere. As in, they're all through this stash. So they're almost like sequins, and they just keep appearing. And that one is completed. So they're good for, I guess, little bits. But there is just lots of little bits and pieces there. As I said, not overly embellished. I doesn't necessarily need it. But do try the cohesiveness by using similar items. So things like the washi tape, the gold stars, those sorts of things. It's fairly obvious that both pages are the same. But I just still like to have that cohesiveness as much as possible. All right, playing around here, trying to use up, see these little squares and skerricks of scrap bits of paper, or even Project Life cards I might have cut up. So just playing around with matting this photo. Because they are night photos, they're not the best quality, and you can't really print them, well, I don't think, in black and white for some of them, because the fun of them is the brightness of the lights, but that can play a little bit of havoc with the quality of the photo. So trying to boost that, I guess, a little bit by doing things like matting them and making them try and pop a little bit by having a bit of a background to it. That's just my thing. A bit of a border. And as you can see here, I cheated and I have added an extra little piece. So that Merry Christmas paper I really wanted to use, but I didn't have a 4x6 piece. So I have added a little star piece to it, another little bit of scrap paper, because why not? I figured the photo was covering a fair bit of it, and it's still white on white. It doesn't clash with the writing, or the writing doesn't clash with the stars either. I thought it looked okay. And you probably would not have noticed, but because I told you now, you can see it. I wasn't sure about this Merry Christmas. I put it down, and that's why I paused there, because I felt like, was it taking up too much of the focus from the photo? As you can see, I left it because I did feel it needed something there, so I just rolled with it. Stick and plonk, stick and plonk. Alright, and just using up some of these stickers. So some of these little phrase stickers, I don't know where they're from. Again, this stash is really old. Anyway, but I'm struggling to use the last of them because a lot of the phrases are very American based, and obviously being in Australia, we don't have white Christmases and things like that, and jumpers and sweaters and things like that. So yeah, trying to figure out creative ways of using them up. This one wasn't too bad. It's got Merry and Bright on it, but still, that's that sticker sheet. All right, sticking and plonking. I'm literally finding bits and pieces that are in my ephemera stash pieces for Christmas stuff. So I have 2 boxes now of Christmas, like 2 little plastic 12 by 12 storage containers. One's one you get from Officeworks with all the little compartments. The other is just, I think I brought it from Kmart. It doesn't have the compartments in it. But it's all just one piece, which is where I usually keep. Anyway, my point being is lots and lots of ephemera spread out. So just literally just grabbing and sticking if I think it'll go okay. Like that green, I don't know, swirly sort of lollipop, I think that's what it reminds me of, looking piece that was on that last photo. Why not? Adds a bit of colour. Fits in with the green theme of Christmas. We'll go with it. Alright, here are my 2 crazy boys. So the oldest one is my son, and then obviously my nephew. So they are born a few days apart, and I always warned my sister that having a boy at Christmas time, she, would be like, it's crazy. And I'm right. He is very much like my son, very active, very funny, crazy, loving, all of those things, and they are like 2 peas in a pod. It just makes me laugh. There's a massive age gap between them. I think it's like 10 or so years. My maths isn't great. But it is a big age gap. But they are just, it's so similar in personality and characteristics and things. It's just so funny. And we don't get to see them that often. So we live a few hours apart, which is a bugger. But yeah, they just remind me so much of each other. And I think I actually put that, on this tag, 2 peas in a pod. It's very sweet. So as you can see, not a lot of big embellishments or, lots of like bam in your face kind of thing. The photos are bright enough. And as I said, they're not the greatest quality either, but their photos are bright enough with all the different lights and the colours of the lights and, things like that. So it didn't need lots of embellishing. Otherwise, it's going to take away from the story in the pictures, really. Now, this one I fiddled with. You'll see me here, look. I kind of didn't want to take out the head of the reindeer, but in the end I was like, you can still see it anyway. One's a bit further back, the other one's got, and it's a really great capture, I think, of my son. He's like jumping in front of it. It's just funny. Spotted journaling, and as you can see, I go with across the middle, some little embellishments, and that's done. Called done there. So that's page 1. So this one is a bit longer because it is a double process. So I did try and speed it up for you. But as you can see, there are some you will see there is cohesiveness on both sides, but I am using different cards. So mainly because I'm just trying to use all my pieces up. All right, now playing around again with matting these photos and using 2 different pieces. And I'm cool with that. I just think it adds a little bit more interest, makes it pop a little bit more, and I'm using up scraps. Because why not? Definitely trying to become less overwhelmed with stash things. As I've talked about in previous videos. In saying that, keep your eyes peeled. I have thought of a new series that I'm going to start as of Saturday, and it's called Stash Down Saturdays. So I am basically going to be picking out different things from my stash. So nothing that's really new. Things that might have been sitting there for a while. Things I'm like I came across a collection sort of pack of papers and some embellishments and things, and I was like, oh, I'd forgotten I really wanted that and got it, and it's been sitting in my stash now. So pulling it out and using them, that's the plan. So feel free to play along on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever day, with my Stash Down series. Get that stash down. That is the plan, because then when we get it when you're not overwhelmed, you create better. But the other side to that is get your stash down, man, then you can buy more new stuff. That's my theory. At the moment, I'm on a hold. I'm not buying anything unless, I need to top things up, or if I'm adding to things I don't really have. So things like I'm looking into things like the distress inks, and I'm liking the oxides. So looking at maybe having a bit of a fiddle with them. And my cat is saying hello. So at the moment, that's my thoughts and process. I haven't brought paper in forever because I have enough paper. You can never have too much, but I do have too much, and it's overwhelming as to what to pick. All right, so playing around, back to the project. I do and do not like this card. It fitted in well with this very vintagey setup at this on this property I was talking about before, because like those brownie colours. But I don't know, so to spruce it up a little bit, I've added this green doily. I need to figure out where I can get more coloured doilies from, because I really like the coloured ones. I think that just adds a different element to a page at times. But yes, so I just wanted to add something, and you can see I've matted the photo on a bit of white cardstock as well, just to give it a bit of a border and a bit of more of a pop. And then I added the green just to, again, it ties in with some of the green in the background of the photo, but I just felt it needed lifting off, I don't know, the card. I like the stars, and I don't mind it. I didn't feel it was very grabby. All right, just adding these glitter pieces there, trying to use up. I've got a few bits of this Christmas ephemera pack you can see me playing with here. I've only got a few pieces left, so I didn't even bother putting the last couple of pieces back in its pack. I think I just dumped them in the container with the little storage compartments from Officeworks, just so I can get them used up and get one more thing out of that stash. And then, all done for that one. And I really liked how this card ended up turning out. I think it really pops. It's really colourful, really fun. Orange, no. Again, not the greatest quality photo, but you get the gist, so I left it. Obviously, again, as I said, it can't be in, can't really do it in black and white, it just loses its impact. So yeah, I just went with it. But these were lights just along an entire street. It was pretty much like closed off, and there were like, again, food vans and stuff like that. And there were all these houses that were just so elaborately decorated. It was amazing. So much fun. People really went all in. So just grab some snaps of that. I did take so many photos of these. I haven't printed them all because otherwise it would be, a million pages long. All right. Adding a label just to... I think I journal on this, or do I just add some little sprinkly bits? No, I'm going to say I journaled because I cut it out. Yeah. I do sort of cut a bit out of this so that way then you aren't stuck for as long. All right. Photo of me and my girl. Just at that lovely awkward pose stage that when you say, smile for the camera, and I either get a really, crazy face or this very flat, yeah, whatever, mum, here I am kind of look. So it's good fun. Especially when you like scrapbook and the photos can make your child look a little sad. Anyway, but yeah, snapping some photos as always. Just popping this up, and again, I don't think this photo. Oh, there's some more washi, the red washi, so that ties in a little bit more to the first page. What am I looking for? I have lots of little like word and phrase pieces. They're not stickers as such. So trying to find, going through them all. And I know I have seen the word, like, if I'm looking for something particular, like I think this one I really wanted, I think it was together or something it said. Could I find it? No. It was driving me nuts. So I ended up picking something else and moving on. Too much stuff, I tell you. Too much Christmas stuff. Just fighting with that gold sticker there. See, look at all my bits and pieces everywhere. All right, now this was another funky background paper I wasn't going to use, and then I thought, no, let's give it a shot. It's got it's Christmassy, but it's got lots of like speech bubbles and all of those things all over it, with like little words related to Christmas. And sometimes I can find them, even in the large papers, a little bit daunting as to how to use them. They just seem so busy. And I'm like, do I really want to cover up all the phrases? But I did. So I do again mat the photo here on some red paper just to make it pop off that background. Again, it's a bit like that brown card I was talking about before. It is it's busy, but it's dull, if that makes sense. So I wanted the photo to sort of be popped a little bit, and I didn't want to mat the photo onto some craft foam to really bring it out either, trying to limit the bulkiness of albums and pages and things. So then I think I go a little bit ephemera crazy on this one, maybe, just to really make it stand out. And you know what? That's okay. I kept wanting to try and use that big piece that says, I think it says Peace on Earth. Yeah, and it's just far too big. And I did go with, you would have seen, even though I said about it being Aussie, trying to use up some of the snowflake designs as just decorative pieces, trying not to overthink it too much. Otherwise, I will have all of these snowflakes sitting left in my Christmas stash at the end of it all, because we don't get snow here in Australia. We're lucky to get rain at Christmas, although I think, was it last Christmas was really wet? Was it the Christmas before? Anyway. So yeah, and using those as some layering pieces and stuff like that, just to get them out of my stash. Going to use some little word phrase pieces here. And then I think this side will be complete once I stick these down. So thank you everyone who is watching for staying tuned in. If you've watched to the end, as I said, it's a bit of a longer process. I don't generally try and make process videos too long, but I wanted to make this double process, and I figured, can't leave it half hanging on yous. So there we go, all finished. But yes, I thank you all very much for tuning in. I have seen some more views on my videos and stuff, which is really awesome. So if there's things that you are really enjoying seeing, or really would like to see me, have a crack at doing or whatnot, let me know. I am still, learning bits, tips and tricks and things myself, as we all are. But if there's something I can share with you, there's another card. I was wrong. This one must be really a real quick one then. So I'm getting to the end, I think. Now this card, jumping back a sec, is actually an old, and I mean old, years old, Inky Quill printable from Patreon. It spans back probably a fair few years now in one of her Christmas collections. Okay, so it's got some beautiful scripty font on it, and I love it, like words on it, and I love it. Okay, just adding some more bits and bobs. Adding some craft foam, to this, just to get it to pop a little bit more. But anyway, as I was saying, if there is things you'd like to see, or if you've got some hints and tips and tricks of things that you've seen me try, I think there was a video there. What was I using? The scribble sticks, for example. Let me know. I'm more than happy to learn. I enjoy trying to learn new things. I watch lots of scrappers myself to try and, learn and, give it a go. But yeah, if you've got any ideas or anything you would like to see, please let me know. Or things you might like to see more of. I know for me, I love things like the craft room tours and stuff like that, sometimes more than others. Just depends on my mood. But yeah, give me a holler. And this spread, I think, is just about done. Did manage to get into my craft room on this last weekend that we've just had. And I actually did a little bit of rearranging, and I think I'm loving it. I actually rearranged because I have a corner IKEA desk. Oh, look, there we go. Flashy hands, 2 pages, all done. So close-ups. But I have a corner IKEA desk, and I've taken it to use as my work desk. So I have a bit more of a workspace because I work generally from home, and swapped it out with another IKEA desk that I was using as a work desk and put it in my craft room, and just a different sort of composition, sort of layout of my tables, and I think I love it. Head over to my Instagram. I did post it on there, on my Scrapper Names Instagram, and you can have a bit of a squiz at what I did. But yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in, peeps. I really appreciate it. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will have a new video on Saturday for my Stash Down Saturday series. So stay tuned and see you then. Bye.